Welcome to Messages from an Angel. Today we're going to talk about dream time, everything dreaming. So when we come back, make sure you have your nightcap on and your PJs on and you get cozy comfy with your teddy bear, because this is what our topic is today on Messages from an Angel.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Hi everybody, and you're back with Angel. Okay, so today we're talking about dream time. This is a massive topic that we can't cover in one show. Like it's not possible. But we can start with the basics. We can start from the start. We can go as far as we can go, and then we're going to go from there. Now, just so everybody knows, today is a pre-recorded show, so unfortunately it's not a call-in day, but we can talk about our dream time and you guys can learn a lot about it. So here you go. Dream time. There are several kinds of dreams that we can have. The first kind of dream is called a dream dump. Those are the dreams that occur when we can't process things during the day. So we're having a hard day at work, or a relationship is a bit in turmoil. We're holding on to those things like a bottle or a pot, and they kind of flow over. But they flow over into our dream time. So when we go to sleep, our subconscious mind has to process that. It's actually what keeps us healthy. If we don't dream, we can actually get sick. Physically sick. So we have to be able to process all of these things. The mind is like a filing cabinet. And if we have too much in the filing cabinet and it's too overloaded, then it's going to get confused. It's going to get chaotic. Then our lives get chaotic. We get headaches. Our body aches. Like all of these things actually come because we haven't processed the things we need to process in life. So the dreams, our subconscious mind does that at night while we're sleeping. So these are called dream dumps. These are those little dreams that make absolutely no sense. Sometimes they're in black and white. They're that time of night when we go into that alpha state and we just kind of go, okay, you know what? I'm releasing everything. And a lot of times what will happen too is when we wake up, we will come out of those dreams still feeling the feelings of those particular dreams. Anisha is laughing because she had a dream like that last night. We were just talking about that. And what's really funny is that a lot of people will take that into their day and they won't even understand why. So when you wake up in the morning, if you're feeling grumpy or you're feeling giggly, or maybe you're even feeling sad. I've actually woken up crying and I don't understand why I'm crying. A lot of time it's because you've just released a lot of stuff and you've done some healing. And it's a huge time for healing work. When we're asleep, we are the most open. So this is when we're going to heal the most, whether it's releasing stuff or whether it's sorting things out in our spirit. So when we wake up, we have these emotions that we're kind of going, where did these come from? And then for the rest of the day, we're feeling a little down or we're feeling a little heavy. And then all of a sudden something could possibly even trigger the dream. So yesterday I had a really, really cool dream, and I'm going to get into that dream a lot more later on because of the circumstances around it. But I forgot about the dream until somebody triggered it. They mentioned something that was actually a part of the dream, and it was the dream about cows. So stay tuned, everybody. You want to know what that one's about. And it was a dream about cows, and somebody started talking about cows, and all of a sudden all of the dream came rushing back. And that's what we'll do. Sometimes we'll file it away and we'll actually bring it up at another time. So those are dream dumps. Those are healthy dreams. You know, when a baby has dreams, a lot of people go, how can a baby possibly dream? That's a big thing that we talk about with newborns. You know, what memories can they have? Well, it's not just about memories. It's also about feelings. When we have certain feelings, whether the child is in the womb or maybe the child experienced something that day, like they saw or felt something, they can actually dream about the feelings. So those little movements they have and the puppy movements that puppies have and kittens have, those are all dream dumps as well. Animals dream as well. If it's a living thing, it dreams, okay? If it's a cognitive conscious being, it's going to dream, and it's healthy to dream. Without them, it's not healthy. So then people ask me all the time, then what happens when I can't remember a dream? Well, a lot of times we can't remember our dreams is because we are so stressed out that we fall into such a deep sleep that we just release. It doesn't mean we're not dreaming. It just means our bodies are so overwhelmed that they shut down. So the physical aspect of who we are shuts down, and the rest moves forward from there. Then we have lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming is when things feel real around us. We're not necessarily cognitive of what's going on, but we can feel it. When we wake up, we remember the feeling of the warmth on our face of the day, or, you know, the smell that was around us, or maybe somebody touching our hand. Those are lucid dreams. What makes a lucid dream different from what we're going to talk about next, which is a journey, is the fact that you're not necessarily cognitive, that you're actually dreaming. So all of these things are happening to you. The dog is barking and you hear it and you feel them and they jump up on you and you can feel the little claws and you can feel the lick on your face. Those are lucid dreams. A lot of time too, people will see ancestors in their dreams and they'll get messages in their dreams. That's also very lucid. When you actually know you are dreaming though, that goes one step further and it's a journey. So in a lucid dream, you can meet ancestors. So you hear about people who say, well, I got a message from my grandmother or from my grandfather, my dad, my mom, my sibling, my friend who's passed over. A lot of times you go into what's called the in-between place. We haven't quite talked about the Akashic records yet, but we will. And that's a library of all of everything. Every molecule of everything, of every genetic everything. I can't even express that. Think of a mirror within a mirror within a mirror within a mirror, endlessly, limitlessly. That's the Akashic records. And in the records are limitless rooms. And one of those rooms is the in-between place, the place in which you will find people will come together so that they can meet. It's a meeting ground. You can also call it the meeting ground, is another name for it. So when we're talking about being in that in-between place, that's the place where ancestors can come to you from the other side and you can come from this side and you guys actually talk. You guys actually get messages. People who are dreaming are able to get those things. You don't realize that while you're dreaming, some people do, but then when they wake up, they go, oh my God, I saw my grandfather. This is what they said. This is what they did. This is what they would have you. So a lot of times what people say to do is write it down. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But the last thing we're going to talk about in the basics of dream time is journeying. Journeying is a whole nother ball of wax. Because when we're talking about journeying, now what we're talking about is actually knowing you are dreaming when you are dreaming. So now you feel it, you hear it, it's happening. You're not dream dumping. This has nothing to do with your day. You are actually physically there in that space. So you're not actually dreaming. You're journeying into another place in your subconscious state. So what will happen is your astral body, or your spirit, okay, is another term for it, is astral body, will actually remove itself from the body, the corporeal body. I was going to say the corpse, the corporeal body. What a horrible word. The corporeal body. And it will actually go out into dream time. Now, we're not talking about astral traveling, because astral traveling is actually traveling outside your home, outside your body. So I have a friend who's very practical, a guy, he's really amazing, and he'll fall asleep. And when he wakes up, he'll find himself at the end of his driveway. And when he's at the end of his driveway, he can see the cars, he can see the things happening, he can feel the wet. That's astral traveling, because he's actually not in his dream time. He's not in another dimension. he's actually in this dimension outside of his body, okay? And he's connected by a little cord that's connected to the belly button. This is why a lot of people who astral travel, for those of you who are resonating with this and are hearing this right now, this is a lot of these people who astral travel and journey and lucid dream, a lot of them have tummy trouble, and they have a lot of digestive issues, and they have a lot of stomach trouble, because what happens is once the spirit comes out, or the astral body comes out, when it comes back in, because it does have to at some point, it crash lands. And when it crash lands, all of a sudden the body kind of goes, oh my God, oh my God. And because it's connected to the stomach, it's going to affect the stomach most. And what's really interesting is there are people who can actually slide back into their bodies, but children, say, who are not used to this. You'll see a lot of children will have a lot of tummy troubles, who are dreamers and lucid dreamers and journeymen. And so these people, we call them very specifically dream walkers. Dream walkers who go on journeys can do anything in their dream time. And I mean anything. I know circumstances where my own son, who is a dream walker, came to me and said, Mommy, I want these particular toys. And I said, okay, well then you know what, go dream them into being. I was joking. And so he went to bed that night. He asked for something that he wanted. He went in his dream time and he said, Mommy, I saw the soldiers. He said there were 5 of them, and these toy soldiers, I could see them. I knew which ones they were. They were the ones I wanted. And I told them that I wanted them to come live in my bedroom. And I said, okay, cool, whatever. Now you have to understand that these toy soldiers that he wants were not readily available at the time. These were things I had to go out and find. Doesn't his aunt come over that night with 5 soldiers? Guess which soldiers they were. She goes, I found these. I was out. They were on sale. My sister is like the queen of sales. And and I'm sitting there and he's smiling at me. And I'm just sitting there going, you gotta be kidding. So I have circumstances like this. I knew a man who was able to actually manifest from his dreams as well. So I already experienced this once with somebody. So the fact that my son could do this was kind of really cool. One of the things they talk about too is when you are in your dreams and you're cognitive of dreaming, you can not only control it, but there are other things that are going on in that dream too. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the other things that are happening.
Hello, my name is Anisha, and I'm the production manager of TCN Network. Have you ever wanted to host your own show? Do you have a message to share? Well, you're in luck. We are looking for dynamic and unique individuals to host their own shows. We are seeking people who are committed, motivated, and energetic. Do you want to be the next Jimmy Fallon, Ellen DeGeneres, or Shane and Ryan from BuzzFeed Unsolved? Start here. Fill out the Propose a Show form on mytcntv.com. We're here to educate, support, and build the community. Can you lead by example? Go the extra mile and seek knowledge? Are you humble, disciplined, responsible, selfless, and enthusiastic? Those are our core values. And if you identify with them, you could be part of a growing network that focuses on positivity and uplifting our community. We can't wait for you to join us on TCN Network and hope to hear from you soon.
Hi, and welcome back. In the first segment, we kind of laid the foundation about what we were talking about, which was dream time. So we had the basic dream dump, which is, the stuff you have during the day. Then you had lucid dreaming. Lucid dreaming is when you're dreaming, but you're not cognitive, you're dreaming, but you can still feel everything in it. A lot of times those dreams are very much in color, just like journeying. And journeying are for those that we call dream walkers. And dream walkers can do anything in their dreams. And I used to know a man once who was a very versed in dream walking, and one of the things he told me was that when you're dream walking, sometimes what's happening is you're actually being tested. So energy workers believe that we go through certain tests to help us elevate to the next phase of who we are, open up our abilities, open up who we are. But it's not just energy workers. Everybody goes through this. So when I was a little girl, I used to dream of this man, and he would always stand in front of the school, and he would scare me. Like, this man would really really scare me. And one day I thought, you know what, you're not going to scare me anymore. And I started walking up to him, and he shapeshifted into a wolf. And every time I encountered this guy in a dream, I would get to a certain point where you don't scare me anymore, or I would do something, and then he would do something different. And he would challenge my fears. He would challenge who I am. Now, a lot of people would say, who work with psychology and psychiatry, that that is us working through our own subconscious fears. Yes, this may be true. But the reality is that when you see in your waking time that things begin to change in your life on a dramatic level energetically, like all of a sudden, you know, you're empathic and you feel, and then you go through this dream time, and then the next day, all of a sudden you're seeing things. That's a drastic change that needs to be attributed to something. Now, sometimes that is true. Again, it's the way the brain sorts things out, the way the mind sorts things out. And when we can't negate that. But the reality is if it is a dream walk, if it is a journey, you will be shown. So I remember having a dream one day, or at least I thought it was a dream. I'm not so sure anymore. And I remember shapeshifting in the dream, right? So you can do anything, especially if you're a dream walker, you can do anything. Now I'm not, so I wasn't fully cognitive that I was dreaming, but I was shapeshifting. I'm like, wow, that's really cool. And I woke up and I could still feel the fur on my skin. I could still feel the heat of the breath of the creature that I turned into in my dream time. Well, it was a very interesting thing because I ended up in chapters that day, and I was walking around, and it was really cool. And of course, I'm going to go stop by the New Age section, but I was walking by the New Age section, and I swear to God, a book fell off the shelf, and it was about shamanism. And I thought, well, this is really cool. And I'd never really explored that before. I never really looked at it before, medicine people and that kind of thing. And so I thought, okay, that's really cool. I'm going to pick it up. I'll put it back. And oh, this is interesting. And it had a wolf on the front of it. And I thought, well, that's kind of cool considering what I dreamt about last night. So that piqued my curiosity. And I opened the book, and the book that it landed on described verbatim everything I had gone through in that dream the night before, step by step by step, because it was really cool. It was almost like a video game. I did one thing, and then I went to the next level, and then I went to the next level, and then I completed this. And it just step by step, this book decided that it was going to tell me everything. So the validation was there that it wasn't just a dream. So when you have those moments, those things are always going to be shown to you. So my cousin is a dream messenger, and so is my sister, in fact. And I can't actually remember who that. No, it was actually my sister this happened to. And we were going to a wedding. And my uncle, who had passed away 3 years before, she had dreamt of a name that was going to be at the wedding. But when she woke up and she said to my mom, she said, this person's going to be at the wedding. And I saw the card. She goes, no, they weren't invited. They're not going to be there. And she goes, are you sure? And she goes, yeah. So we went to the wedding, and sure enough, not only was that person there, but ironically, the uncle who had come to her in the dream to tell her about this, there was a card made up for him too. I thought that was kind of weird, don't you? So my reality is validation and confirmation are always going to be there for you, right? Like it's a really interesting thing. You can logic everything away, but my thing is there is logic to most things. But then you have to give that little bit of room for those things that are unexplainable. We have to open our minds to those things that are unique to who we are as human beings. We only use a small percentage of our brain. So we're looking at like 80-90% of our brain that never gets utilized on a conscious level. So what's going on in the subconscious level? Well, we're starting to learn how this is working. Now, as I said, there are different types of people who work within the dream realm. There are those who are dream messengers. Dream messengers are people who work with ancestors, family members. People will come and give them messages. Sometimes they'll even err on the side of dreams. And a lot of times of people who are dreaming, they can't even tell reality from dream time at night. So again, my sister is a good example. When she was a little girl, she would wake up and she would see Saint Anne in her room. And Saint Anne would have a little boy with her. And what was really, really interesting is that she would say to my mom, I started out in a dream, but then I ended up in my room. And a lot of times what will happen is that you start out in a certain place and then they take you to a place of comfort or reference. A lot of times you'll even see things like doors in dreams or windows in dreams. Those doors and windows are actually access points to different places in your dream time in a journey, right? So remember how I was talking about the Akashic records? The Akashic records and that place of the everything has rooms, limitless amount of rooms. And they say that when you're in your dream time, that's just another room of the Akashic records. So when you're sitting there and you see a door, you open that door, it takes you to another room, another dimension, another place. Okay. My sister was a mall rat when she was younger. She still is to a degree. And she would go to a mall and she would see these stores. And the stores would all be dark. They were closed. And then all of a sudden one would turn on, the light would turn on, and she'd go into that particular store and that store would lead her somewhere. Also, a lot of people have talked about tragedies. When you have a tragedy on one side of the world, another side of the world may be asleep. And a lot of people will say, well, you know, there was an angel and I saw an angel helped me. Think about this for a second. Try and get your head around this concept. What if there are angels out there who are helping, but what if in our dream time we are so connected to each other that we sit on a vibration of whatever is happening out there and our spirits, our astral bodies go to that place, okay? We astral travel or we journey to that place. We think we're dreaming. We actually attribute to, I had a dream, but you actually go there to help someone out of the water or to save someone's life. I heard time and time and time again of people who are drowning who have felt a hand come up or see a face that they didn't know and they attribute it to being an angel. Whereas on the other side of the world, somebody is dreaming about placing their hand in the water and rescuing somebody who is drowning. You know, what if we're all so integrally connected that we can even walk inside each other's dream time? What if we are such limitless beings that we can do so many things that are outside our realm? You talk about children who get afraid in dreams, and we say, when you go into your dream, when you see Freddy Krueger again, or you see that big bad monster, turn him into a hippo. For those of you who love Harry Potter, Anisha, it's the boggart, right? You see the boggart, and what do? You turn them into something. You turn them into your grandma, right? You can do this in dream time. These are where dreamwalkers specialize, and everyone can do it. It's to what degree or another does it become easy. So for me, the reality is there's so much that we can do once our spirit leaves our body when we get into a certain state. I had a friend, we used to do Reiki together, and I remember she was standing right beside me, and I looked up, I opened my eyes, and she was standing in the corner as well as beside me, right? I would sit there and watch television. I would see her literally pop up, and then she'd call me 20 minutes later. She'd going, you didn't call me? You didn't see me? What the hell? And I'd be sitting there going, really? Really? It's at first, it's very hard to get your head around because we have been taught very linearly, right? If you don't see it, if you can't feel it, if you can't touch it, if it isn't something that is 9 to 5, day and night, tangible, it can't possibly exist. That is things left best for the movies. But art imitates life, right? So my thing has always been that there are so many limitless things we can do with dreams that can actually aid us in our day-to-day life. And for those of you who can't dream, there are ways to open that up. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about all of those different things in our last 2 segments of Messages from an Angel.
Are you retiring smart? Make your home's equity work for you. With your home's equity and our 30 years of experience, the Retire Smart Properties team can help you achieve the quality of life you've always wanted. Our services are 360 degrees. We'll give you advice, take care of staging and selling, and help you find the perfect home and community to transition to. It's time to enjoy the retirement lifestyle you deserve. Visit our website today to learn how you can use your home to retire comfortably. The Retire Smart Properties team, powered by RE/MAX West.
Hi, and we're back with messages from an angel. So one of the things that we left off with is entering each other's dreams. So I had a dream the other night, and I was with a friend of mine who is a farmer, and she was at the PTA, she was at the school doing her thing, and I walked towards the school, and the school turned into her barn. And this actually happened. And I saw the cow that was standing there, and all of a sudden she told me, she said, yeah, the cow's about to have a baby at some point, but we don't know when. And we turned around, and the baby was there. And then I turned back to her, and then we turned back again, and there was a twin. There was a little one there. So the next day after I had this dream, I thought, well, okay, that was interesting. I don't know, whatever. And she called me, actually. I was in the car, and she called me, and she said, and I was telling her, I said, I dreamt about you last night. And I said, and there was this cow. She goes, yeah, and this happened. I said, yeah, and then this happened. She goes, yeah, and you were wearing this. I said, yeah, and you were wearing this. She goes, oh my God. And we were actually in each other's dream time. And that might seem really weird, and people are going, yeah, right, whatever. But this actually happens because we're so integrated, because as human beings, our spirit are limitless. We can actually do this. There was a brother and sister that I knew, and I knew them as adults, and they would actually talk to me about the idea that when they were little, they would say, hey, okay, you know what, I'll see you in the dream time. And they would go have dreams together. And they would then in the morning compare the dreams. And mom and dad would be like, are you kidding me? This is really happening? And then they would go and visit mom and dad in the dream. So mom and dad couldn't say that it wasn't happening anymore. You know, they would have to prove it. And it's just like all of these different stories that you hear about. You know, when you hear about Native Aboriginals and they go into their journeys and their vision quests, these are a part of journeying. This goes beyond the dream time, right? And it goes beyond because you walk into symbolism at this point. When you're journeying, now everything you have to be aware of. Now you have to be aware of the tree. What color is the tree? What color is the sky? Do you see animals in your dreams, right? Do you see ancestors? Is there a man standing there watching you? What is he watching? Is he saying something? Is he trying to say something? All of these different things are parts of, number one, if it's a dream jump, your subconscious trying to tell you something, or a journey where you are trying to be taught something. You are being given a message. So there are books, right? There are all kinds of things you can go to where you can look these up. You can look up bear medicine, or you can look up bear dream and what is a bear in your dream. And it can get really graphic too. Like I've seen books where they talk about like organs and blood and guts and gore and death and this and that. And for me, what I like to do is when I have a symbolic dream, I wake up from that dream and I kind of try to go back on it. What did I see? What did I feel? What was happening? What was going on? And then I try to go, okay, well, you know what? What was that animal trying to tell me based on what it felt? I try to interpret it before I even go to the book. And that's one of the ways I practice, okay? And this is a very important thing to do, because then when others are talking to you and they talk about their symbolism, you can help them with their stuff. And it's not just about helping them interpret the dream. You're actually helping people interpret their lives, okay? Helping them sort themselves out. And then there are those people who dream walk, who go, let's say, to the Akashic Records, and they go visit and they go and learn stuff, and they consciously go into different places so that they can gather stuff for themselves. I know a woman who was studying shamanism, And as a part of her work, they put everybody in a circle. And in this circle, they said, when you come out of your circle tonight, when you come out of your circle in the morning, when you come out of your sleep tomorrow, you need to bring something back from your dreams. This is how experienced they were. And this is the level of shamanism and medicine that they were working with. So she woke up in the next day, and people, you know, had things that they were drawing out and that kind of stuff and what have you, and pulling out of their pillow, and they're, you know, I have this and I have this. And she's like, I don't get it. And she sat up, and as she sat up, she said she went to the sands of Cairo, and she realized that as she sat up, there was sand on her feet. Right? So we can even pull things out of dream time into this world to be able to manifest, which is very convenient, especially if you have, let's say, a financial problem, right, happening in your life. You can go into dream time and you can figure out where that issue is, heal that issue, or go somewhere and say, listen, this is what I need and this is the help I need. And you can see it manifest in your life. And it sounds crazy, but it actually isn't. We are limitless beings. And that's all intuitive psychic work, right? The reason I can talk legitimately on this show about dream time is because this is connecting to spirit. This is connecting to your intuition. This is connecting to your psychic self, whether you see that or not. And for those of you who don't think they can dream, you can. As I said earlier on in the show, everyone has to dream to stay healthy. So even if you don't remember your dreams, understand you are. And how you know if it's a dream dump or a lucid dream, or if you're journeying, is how tired are you in the morning. I'm also going to give some tips and tricks at the end as to how you can settle yourself if you can't sleep at night because you are dream walking. If you are lucid dreaming, a lot of times you'll wake up feeling very refreshed. You might feel the feelings of that dream and that will linger a little bit, but there's a sense of feeling refreshed, like you've released something or you've let something go, you've learned something, something is there that shifted in you. If you are lucid dreaming, then you're going to feel a little tired, right? You might have the emotions, you might feel a little dragged a bit because you're awake at night and you're awake during the day. If you're dream walking, oh, brother in heaven, have mercy on your soul, you are going to feel weak. You are going to feel like you can't even lift your arms, like you haven't slept in days, even if it was just the one night. Not only are you awake 24 hours, but you've literally been backpacking across the universe, you know? So you wake up and it just feels like, oh my God, I haven't slept. I feel dragged. I feel like it's 3 o'clock in the morning, but I know I've had 8-9 hours sleep. No, you haven't. No, you haven't. You've actually been journeying. So for people that have these kinds of circumstances, or for anybody who dreams and wakes up feeling very tired, what you can do is there are 3 very particular stones that you can use to help this. You can use amethyst for protection, because when you're going from this world into the subconscious world, it's like a tunnel. And in that tunnel, people have even said, I've seen people, I've experienced stuff, people are trying to grab me, people are trying to do this and that and the other. And the reality is the amethyst will actually keep you pure and it'll protect you along the way. Almost put like a little shield around you so you can go and travel between the worlds. Smoky quartz. A lot of dream walkers, a lot of children who dream, who have unsettled rest, have tummy trouble. Smoky quartz, very specific for the stomach. I was just speaking with somebody yesterday who was talking about having tummy trouble after they've gone into dream time. And I said, you know what, keep one in a little bag with your amethyst and the next stone I'm about to talk about, and keep one with you so that when your tummy hurts, you place it on your stomach. If you think of a hose, a garden hose, right? When you roll it up on the wheel, when you go astral traveling, you're unraveling the garden hose. It's attached to you so you can stay connected to your body. But when you come back, if you're not versed in how to come back, you'll crash land and you won't be reeling up the garden hose. It'll just be kind of sitting there on the sidewalk, like sitting there in your energetic field. So when you use the smoky quartz, what it does is at the minute you place it on your tummy, what happens is it will reel up your etheric cord back into your belly button, so to speak. Okay, it'll reel up that garden hose back on the wheel. So the third one is jet. And jet is to help you continue to dream, but not have you remember. So those of you who do dream a lot and remember all your dreams and gets in the way of your sleep, the jet will actually help your body to rest at night and still have the dream time happen. Okay, so you'll wake up feeling good and refreshed and what have you, but you won't have remembered your dreams per se. Okay. Now, this is great for kids. For young adults and things, you can place all three of these stones in a bag and set them under your pillow or inside your pillow bag. I like to put them in my pillow bag just simply because if you put them underneath your pillow, they could fall. If they're in your pillow, in the pillowcase, then they're kind of set there, right? With children, though, you don't want to put it too close to them because you don't want them to play with them or eat them or that kind of thing. So long as it's in the room somewhere, then that's going to be okay for them. The closer, the better, but you don't want them to swallow it. You don't want them to choke on it. You don't want those things, right? My mom used to have little amulets that she put up for protection because we're European, and she put them at the highest point of the ceiling in a bag. She put them at the highest point in the ceiling above our head so we couldn't reach them, but they were still above us so that they were affecting us. And even in feng shui, they say that whatever you have around your head, that is going to affect your sleep. So if you have a lot of technology beside you, I can guarantee you're not going to sleep well. Okay. The EMFs off of that, the electromagnetic field is going to affect you. Even if it's like a lot of people, they have now found that even when you have something plugged in, there is energy leaking, and that energy leak can actually affect your energetic field and affect your home and affect your sleep. Okay. If you have a lot of things, or if you have, let's say, an alarm clock, one of the things that you can do is get some lepidolite. Okay, lepidolite, it's a blue stone. It's almost like shale. And you put that beside the electronics. So in my office, because my guy is an IT guy, he has 3 screens, right? 3 screens, all kinds of electronics, all this stuff, all that stuff. So I have a nice chunk of lepidolite. And that sits by there. And he even notices the difference. He's like, wow, it just feels better. It feels lighter around the computers, but it doesn't hurt the computers. You don't want to put things like hematite around stuff like that because it is magnetic. It can hurt it. So lepidolite.
Sockets for your phone with the stone on it.
Yes. Oh, what a great idea. Yeah, you can put the stone in the pop socket. Oh my God, you are so techno. I love you. That's a whole episode in itself, is how do you bring all these old ways and these traditions into the technological and progressive world? And we're going to have a whole episode on that at some point, because that is like, like I know young techno witches who will put their boss, which is called a Book of Shadows, and they'll actually put it on a USB stick and they'll carry it with them. So they have a spell a day or their spells or their stuff all with them, right? And these are the teenagers that go to high school and university, and it's just the coolest thing ever. So how do you bring the old world into the new world? And that's one of the things we're going to talk about. So yeah, any way that you can do that with your phone is really great. I put stones in my wallet too, like for money and increase and all, but that's a whole nother story. But for technology, any kind of technology, you can actually put it by your bedside, by your technology. Better not to have it there at all, but alarm clocks and things, you're going to want to have some technology in your room at some point. So anything that helps to ease your sleep is what you want when you are in dream time. And we're going to talk about how you can ease yourself into dream time and work with that when we come back.
My name is Anisha, and I'm the production manager of TCN Network. Have you ever wanted to host your own show? Do you have a message to share? Well, you're in luck. We are looking for dynamic and unique individuals to host their own shows. We are seeking people who are committed, motivated, and energetic. Do you want to be the next Jimmy Fallon, Ellen DeGeneres, or Shane and Ryan from BuzzFeed Unsolved? Start here. Fill out the Propose a Show form on mytcntv.com. We're here to educate, support, and build the community. Can you lead by example? Go the extra mile and seek knowledge? Are you humble, disciplined, responsible, selfless, and enthusiastic? Those are our core values. And if you identify with them, you could be part of a growing network that focuses on positivity and uplifting our community. We can't wait for you to join us on TCN Network and hope to hear from you soon.
Hi, and welcome back to Messages from an Angel. We've been talking about dream time, the different kinds of dreaming there are, the different kinds of people and how they work with dream time, how dream time can be utilized, how we can settle ourselves, and tips and tricks that you can use to either turn down the dream time or turn up the dream time. So now what we're going to talk about is turning up the dream time. We've talked about carrying stones in a bag in your pillowcase to help you to settle your dreams and so that your body can rest. When my boy was young, he would do 2 days of dreaming, 3 days of not dreaming, 3 days of dreaming, and then 2 days of not dreaming. And what we would do is we would actually say things like, just for tonight, no dreams. Just for tonight, no dreams. Let me wake up feeling refreshed. Let me wake up feeling good. And I would hold his hand and I would say that. So if you have a little one who's having a hard time sleeping, having a lot of dreams, you're seeing them shift around, they're restless. These are some of the things that you can try to see if they're dreaming and they're dream walkers. Okay. Sometimes they're just fussing because maybe they, had a bad bit of warm milk before bed or what have you. But the reality is to try it. That never hurts. And I usually work with it for about a week to determine whether or not something is working or someone is a certain type of way. So how do you turn on your dreams? Okay, for those of you who say they don't dream, but they are dream walkers, or they would love to dream, or how can I dream? There are some simple things that you can do. And one of them is to drink a half a glass of water before you go to bed. Why? Because we dehydrate so quickly when we're asleep. Like that's 8 hours, no food, no drink. We're basically fasting. As psychics, as intuitives, as energetic beings, we need to stay hydrated in order to be able to read, in order to be able to connect. That is imperative. So my boyfriend takes a bottle of water with him to work every day. And yesterday or the day before, he came to me and he says, oh yeah, he goes, look at what I did. And I said, what? And he goes, my bottle's empty. And I said, well, yeah, you take that every day to work. So of course your water bottle's gonna be empty. He goes, no. I drink coffee all day. That's just in case I want it. I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah. And I'm like, and you're complaining that you're not seeing, you're not having intuitive experiences. I'm like, what? You live with me. What? So he says, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe I should drink more water. Emoji. And so I'm looking at him like, really? And he has been drinking the water and he has his experiences, his sharpness is coming back. So what's really interesting is water is vital for us because there are actual neurons in the brain that need to connect to give us clarity to be able to connect and channel. Okay. So when you go to sleep, that is a kind of an old thing that they talk about. A lot of people have heard that. Drink a cup of water or half a cup of water before you go to bed. Well, here's something else you need to do. Because you have so much happening during the day, and some of us are going through crisis time, some of us are stressed out, a lot of us are stressed out. One of the things that you want to do is you want to empty the case. You want to empty the spirit. You want to empty the body, empty the mind, right? How many of us can't get to sleep because they're thinking so much and they have so many thoughts that are going through their head? So if you really want to dream and not dream dump, if you want to lucid dream and walk and message and do all these different things rather than just dream dump, my recommendation to you is right before you go to sleep. And I'm not just talking about, yeah, today was a great day and the sky was blue and I mean vomit on the pages. There is this amazing book and it's called The Artist's Way and it's by this woman named Julia Cameron. And Julia Cameron has a 12-step program for creatives. And one of the mandatory things through this 12 weeks, and you can get this at the store. I love this book. I did it, but you have to be ready for it because it will change your life. You can get it at Chapters and it's called The Artist's Way, and it's Julia Cameron. And over this 12 weeks, it really digs in there. But what happens is that every single day, there are two things you have to do. Every single day, you have to write. And she calls them morning pages. And she says it's the first thing you need to do because you have all these conscious stream of thoughts that are happening because you're just coming out of your subconscious, which is absolutely true. But with me, I do something a little bit different, which I'm going to talk to you about too if I have some time. I like to do them at night because I have my all day and I just vomit on the page and I just write and write and write. You know what? Today was a crappy day. My boss and whatever comes, right? My boss was alligators and Bugs Bunny and I could just strangle him. And you just put it on the page. And you write and write and write and write until you can't write anymore. Sometimes it'll be 5 minutes, sometimes it'll be 2, sometimes it'll be 20, sometimes it'll be half an hour, 45 minutes. But you're getting everything out, you're releasing. So when you go to bed, your mind is expansive. Then have your glass of water. Go to bed. Watch what happens. I'm telling you, you will dream. May take a few days for this to really kick in, about 2 or 3 days, but normally it will, if you've written really well and you've really got it all out, it will be all there, okay? A lot of times when people go into dream time, they're very afraid of their dreams, so they don't want to dream. Understand that nothing can hurt you in dream time. Nothing is going to affect you in a way. Like people will say, well, they have heart attacks in their dreams. People have heart attacks in their dreams because they were scared or they were this or they were that. There are theories about that, but having worked with the people I've worked with and the intuitive, you're very well protected, because when you go in there, you actually have things that protect you, whether they're animals or spirits or guides or guardians. Dreamtime is there as a learning tool, as a benefit to you. A lot of people who die in their sleep are actually not dreaming and then seeing somebody who will take them away. They're actually dream walking. They're going somewhere. They're meeting somebody in the meeting place who is taking their spirit and going, okay, you know, it's time to release that cord, so the body no longer needs it and you can be free, because that's what happens. So all of these different things can seem like dreaming and are something completely different, but we lump it all into one thing. Whereas in our reality, dream time is a whole bunch of things happening all at once. It is our spirit coming from our body, traveling into different dimensions, or our minds releasing. The mind is a complex thing. The spirit is a complex thing, and they work together. So for someone to say that dreaming is only about sorting things out, only about taking care of you from the mind's perspective, I think is a very short-sighted view, because the spirit also has a part to play in that. We all have a part to play in that, even with each other in dream time. Okay. There was something I was going to talk about. I said if I got time to talk about it, and now I can't remember what it is. Sorry? Your dream? My dream? No, it wasn't my dream. It was an actual something, a technique or something. I was going to get back to it. Now I forgot. That's okay. I obviously wasn't meant to talk about it right here, right now. When we talk to children about their dreams and nightmares, this is a place where we need to be very careful, because we don't want to frighten children. Rather than calling them nightmares or night terrors, what we can do is just say, you know what? You were journeying, and maybe there was something to learn. And a lot of times when you see scary things, they're not really scary. It's just how we perceive them. If you see a big bear in your dream, it doesn't mean the bear is trying to be scary. The bear might be trying to tell you something. The bear might be seeing something behind you, and it's protecting you, and you don't understand. So ask. There's nothing to be afraid of. And children are lucid dreamers. Children can have dream time. My son used to dream about these bears that would come to him, and they would sit with them, and they would tell them about who he was. And it wasn't until about 2 or 3 years after he was having these dreams that someone, it was a native Aboriginal woman, said, you know what, your son is bear medicine. And then a native Aboriginal man said he was bear medicine. And then he had all of these different things that validated that. And he had been having these dreams about these bears, this mama bear and these 2 little bears, who are saying, you're part of us. So in your dream time, these messages are real. Whether you understand it or not is irrelevant. And sometimes you won't even find it in a book. Trust you. When you wake up, how did it feel? Right? What did it smell like? What was the experience for you? If you have someone in your life who is an elder who's passed, like a grandfather or grandmother, talk to them, ask them questions. I was with somebody just last night who had questions about their life and about a person who had passed. I said, well, why aren't you asking the person? You know, you're a dream walker. You've done this for years, and yet you're coming to me about this. Great. Thank you for the money. Thank you for the session. But the reality is when you go to sleep at night, just before you go to bed, ask. Oh, that's what it was. Another technique. So there are ways of connecting when you're dreaming. So now you've written, right? You've done your writing, you've done your glass of water. Before you go to bed, ask your guides, guardians, angels. What I do is I say, anybody of the light who's out there, help me to remember my dreams tonight. So when I wake up in the morning, I remember them fully and completely. Sometimes I'll say, anybody of the light who's out there, what I'd really love to do is talk to my grandfather tonight. And I'll ask to talk to him, and I will see him in that dream time. 2 weeks ago, I lost an article in my home. And what I did was actually even better. The first time it ever happened, I was in Whistler and I was skiing, and I lost my pass for the mountain. And I remember that night going to bed, and I asked, I said, you know what? I need to see where it is in my dream tonight. And for me, I don't necessarily have them at night. I will wake up in the morning and fall back asleep. And it's in that time, just as I'm falling back asleep, that I will have a vision. So a lot of people, as they're waking up or as they're falling asleep, That's when they'll have their dream time or visions, especially psychics and intuitives. That time is really important time. And I asked where it was, and I was waking up, I was falling asleep again, and I saw it. And I remember jutting out of bed, running downstairs, and it was exactly, it had fallen in and underneath the sofa cushion. So you can even ask about those kinds of things. You know, what's happening with my son? What's happening with my daughter? How can I help this situation? All of those things can be asked as you go to sleep at night or when you wake up and you're falling back asleep. All of these things can be worked with, okay? And when I close my eyes in the morning, a lot of times too, I will do affirmations. That's what it was. And those and I ams and things like that. But that's a whole nother show. Today, we've been talking about Dreamtime and how to access it and how to work with it and what they mean. Go and explore and play. Go on the internet and, you know, learn a little bit about it. Ask questions and don't be afraid to talk about it, right? Find your nearest curiosity shop. They always have information about things like this. And if you want to know more about me, go to raisingenergy.com or Instagram at raisingenergy or at mypsychiclifestyle.com, where I talk about all this kind of stuff and you can chat with me a little bit more. My name is Angel Morgan, and this has been all about Dreamtime on Messages from an Angel. Ho, 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 ho. Hi, and thank you for having joined us today on Messages from an Angel. Have happy dreams, have a happy night, go curl up with your PJ and your teddy bear and dream beautiful dreams. Sleep well until I see you next time on Messages from an Angel.